the world seemed to pause for a moment. A new chapter in the history of the Catholic Church was beginning, and all eyes were on Vatican City. The anticipation was strong, especially around the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica. There, Pope Tagle stood, ready to share his first message as the leader of the Church. This was not just a speech. It was the dawn of a new era. The vast crowd fell silent, while millions more around the world watched from their screens. The atmosphere was thick with meaning, hope, and expectation. Pope Tagle, a man known for his humility and warmth, stood before the world like a beacon of light in uncertain times. He carried the weight of centuries on his shoulders, the traditions and teachings of those before him. Yet he stood with grace and dignity, prepared to embrace the responsibilities ahead. As he looked over the sea of faces before him, his presence brought a sense of calm. People had traveled from across the globe to witness this historic moment. Many looked up at him with admiration and reverence, knowing that his words would shape the future of the Church. His expression showed strength and a deep connection to his faith. There was a fire in his eyes, a clear sign of his determination to lead with wisdom and love. A gentle smile appeared on his face. It was a smile filled with kindness, sincerity, and hope. It was clear that he was not just a leader, but a shepherd, guiding his people with compassion. His eyes reflected a deep and unwavering faith, shaped by both the joys and struggles of the world. Yet in them, there was a profound hope. Hope in humanity, in faith, and in God's mercy. When he spoke, his voice was soft, but strong. It carried a sense of reassurance calming even the most troubled hearts. Every word was chosen with care, each phrase delivered with quiet conviction. His voice traveled across St. Peter's Square and far beyond, reaching people in every corner of the world. The crowd listened intently, as if time itself had stopped. "My brothers and sisters," he began, his words echoing in countless languages. His message was universal. It crossed borders, cultures, and beliefs. He spoke of hope, unity, and compassion. He reached out to those who were suffering, offering words of comfort and encouragement. His speech became a source of strength for the weary, a guiding light for those seeking peace. Pope Tagle did not ignore the harsh realities of the world. He acknowledged the conflicts, injustices, and struggles faced by humanity. War, poverty, and suffering cast long shadows over many lives. But he did not let despair take hold. Instead, he offered a vision of hope, hope that was not just in words, but in action. He urged people to come together, to work towards a better world, to embrace love, mercy, and unity. In a world often divided, Pope Tagle made a passionate plea for peace. He called upon people of all faiths, and even those without religious beliefs, to seek dialogue, understanding, and reconciliation. He knew that true peace could only come when people set aside their differences and chose to walk together in harmony. He also spoke about the challenges facing the Church. He did not shy away from difficult topics. Instead, he addressed them openly, recognizing the need for renewal and change. He called for a return to the core values of the gospel: love, humility, and service. He acknowledged the pain of those who had been hurt by the Church and promised accountability and reform. One of the most powerful moments of his speech was his message to the younger generation. He understood the unique struggles they faced in a constantly changing world. He spoke directly to their hopes, fears, and dreams. He invited them to take an active role in shaping the Church's future. He reminded them that they were not just the future of the Church, but also its present. His words deeply touched young Catholics, making them feel seen, heard, and valued. As Pope Tagle concluded his speech, a deep silence filled St. Peter's Square. It was not an empty silence, but one of reflection and emotion. The weight of his words lingered in the air. Then applause erupted, first as a ripple, then as a wave spreading across the square and beyond. Across continents, from bustling cities to quiet villages, people watched, listened, prayed, and allowed themselves to hope. His message transcended language and culture, speaking to the deepest longings of the human heart. In a world that often feels broken, his words offered a vision of unity, peace, and renewal. His first message sent ripples through the Catholic community, sparking discussions and inspiring change. He emphasized a church that embraced both tradition and progress, one that required courage, compassion, and a willingness to address modern challenges. As the world reflected on Pope Tagle's historic address, one thing became clear. His words had touched millions. His leadership promised to be transformative. He sought to guide the Church through the challenges of the 21st century with faith, humility, and love. Every word, every gesture, showed his deep commitment to serving others. Time would reveal the full impact of his leadership, but already, the seeds of change were beginning to grow. His message of unity and peace would remain in the hearts of people for years to come. He inspired individuals to look beyond their differences, to connect with one another, to build bridges instead of walls. His legacy was one of dialogue, understanding, and a commitment to the teachings of the gospel. He demonstrated that true leadership was not about power, but about service. It was about lifting others, guiding them with love and compassion. This vision of leadership gave the world a renewed sense of hope. As people moved forward, they carried with them the memory of his words, the strength of his message, and the promise of a better future. Pope Tagle's first message was more than just a speech. It was a prayer, a promise, and a call to action. It was meant to be felt, not just heard. It stirred hearts and minds across the world, reminding everyone of their shared humanity and the enduring presence of hope. As the sun set over St. Peter's Square, marking the end of one chapter and the beginning of another, people held candles in their hands. These candles were not just sources of light. They were symbols of unshakable faith and resilience. His words continued to echo, carrying a timeless truth that transcended borders and cultures. The inspired faces in the crowd reflected the universal power of his message. It urged people to work towards a world built on understanding, kindness, and love. His call for interfaith dialogue and peace highlighted the beauty of diversity and the importance of working together for the common good. His message was not just an ideal, it was a practical guide for daily life. It was an invitation for people to become peacemakers, to bring light into the darkness, to uplift those in need. Even the smallest acts of kindness, he reminded, could create ripples of change. Just as a single candle can brighten a dark room, a simple act of compassion can inspire others and transform lives. The dawn that followed was filled with promise. The sight of people embracing in front of St. Peter's Basilica served as a powerful image of hope and unity. It was a reminder that we are all part of a greater story, one of love, faith, and resilience. Pope Tagle's words would continue to guide, inspire, and shape the future, offering hope in times of uncertainty and light in moments of darkness.